Have you ever felt this way? The morning starts like any other. You're ready to get out of bed or take a nice walk around the block. But suddenly, a sharp leg cramp stops you in your tracks. The pain grips your calf or thigh, and you sit there rubbing it, breathing through the tension. It passes eventually, but something lingers. Not just in your muscles, but in your confidence. You start hesitating. You think twice before bending down, walking too far, or even gardening. And over time, those moments add up. If you're over 60, you're not alone. Your legs may feel weaker, your balance not quite as steady, and those nighttime cramps start showing up more often. But here's the good news. It doesn't have to stay this way. The truth is, leg strength doesn't come from exercise alone. It starts from within, with the essential vitamins your body may no longer be getting enough of. In today's video, we're diving into the top 7 vitamins that can make a real difference. Vitamins that help strengthen your leg muscles, improve blood circulation, and prevent those painful cramps. They're simple, accessible, and especially effective for older adults. So if your legs haven't felt as reliable lately, stick around. This might be exactly what you've been looking for. Let's start with one that's absolutely foundational: magnesium. This is the mineral your muscles depend on for proper contraction and relaxation. Without it, you get those annoying nighttime leg cramps, the kind that wake you up out of a deep sleep and make you stretch and twist until you can fall back asleep again. Magnesium also plays a role in nerve signaling. It helps your brain and muscles communicate properly. If your levels are low, your legs might feel weak, jittery, or stiff, even if you're otherwise healthy. I remember talking with Joanne, who's 66 and always on her feet. She volunteers at a thrift shop 2 days a week and takes care of her garden in between. But every night around 2 a.m., she'd wake up with a cramp in her calf so sharp she thought something was tearing. When she mentioned it to her doctor, they checked her magnesium, and sure enough, it was low. She started taking a supplement with her evening tea, and after a couple of weeks, the cramps went from nightly to rare. That small change gave her back her rest and her mornings. Now, magnesium is found in leafy greens, beans, and pumpkin seeds. But for many older adults, digestion slows down and absorption isn't what it used to be. That's where a supplement, simple, low dose, can step in and fill the gap. The next vitamin we need to talk about is vitamin D. Yes, the sunshine vitamin. And no, it's not just about bones, though it certainly helps with those. Vitamin D plays a vital role in muscle performance. Without enough of it, muscles lose strength and tone, and that contributes to the wobbly, unstable feeling that leads to falls. And here's the challenge. As we age, our skin becomes less efficient at producing vitamin D from sunlight. Add in sunscreen, time indoors, or living in cooler climates, and you've got a recipe for deficiency. Take Tom, a retired firefighter I met through a community workshop. He's 72 and proud of staying active, but he noticed his legs felt heavy lately, like they were dragging through water. He'd assumed it was just getting old, but after a routine blood test, his doctor found his vitamin D levels were almost non-existent. After supplementing, he told me it felt like his legs woke back up. The heaviness lifted, and walking stopped feeling like a chore. And here's the kicker: vitamin D doesn't work alone. It needs calcium to do its job right. Think of them as dance partners. One strengthens your bones and posture, the other energizes your muscles. Together, they help keep your legs upright, stable, and responsive. Now, calcium is everywhere, from dairy to fortified cereals, but absorption matters more than just intake. Without enough vitamin D to carry it into your cells, calcium can float around without doing much. That's why pairing them is so important. But don't worry, we're not talking about taking handfuls of pills. Sometimes it's as simple as choosing the right multivitamin or talking to your doctor about a combo supplement that includes both. Before we move on, let's pause for a second. These aren't just numbers and names from a label. These are tools. Real tools you can use to rebuild the foundation under your feet. You may not notice it after one day, but over a few weeks, your legs begin to feel stronger when you stand. That hesitation before walking across a parking lot starts to disappear. That occasional leg spasm in the middle of a phone call. It fades into the background, and suddenly, you're not planning your day around avoiding discomfort. You're planning your day around living. Now, we've already covered magnesium, vitamin D, and calcium, three of the most important building blocks for muscle performance and leg stability. But there are more. In fact, there's one particular B vitamin that's often forgotten, yet it plays a huge role in nerve health and circulation. Two things that directly impact how your legs feel after a walk, or even just after standing too long. Let's take a closer look at that next. So let's talk about the vitamin that often gets overlooked but quietly plays one of the most powerful roles in how your legs feel day to day. Vitamin B12. This little nutrient is like a spark plug for your nervous system. It helps build and maintain the myelin sheath, the protective covering around your nerves. And without enough B12, nerve signals from your brain to your legs start misfiring. The result? Numbness, tingling, that pins and needles feeling that creeps up when you're sitting for too long or standing in one place. For some folks, it even shows up as a weird burning sensation or muscle weakness, especially in the calves or thighs. This isn't just theory. Let me tell you about Robert, a 70-year-old who used to work in construction. He's still pretty active for his age, but he came to one of our wellness meetups complaining about how his legs buzzed at night, like static electricity under the skin. He thought it might be circulation, but after some testing, his doctor found out it was a B12 deficiency. Robert had been taking a generic multivitamin, but turns out his body wasn't absorbing B12 very well through food or pills. So they switched him to a sublingual under-the-tongue version, and within weeks, the buzzing started to ease. Now, he says it's like someone turned the volume down on his discomfort, and he's walking farther without fear of stumbling. It's worth knowing that B12 deficiency becomes more common after age 60, especially because stomach acid levels decline, which makes it harder to absorb this vitamin from food. So even if you're eating plenty of meat, eggs, or dairy, your body might not be getting what it needs. This is why so many older adults benefit from either a B12 supplement or a B complex that includes folate and B6 for balance. Speaking of folate, that's another B vitamin that deserves more attention than it gets. Folate works behind the scenes to improve circulation, helping deliver oxygen-rich blood to your legs and feet. Poor blood flow is often the hidden reason behind that heavy, dragging feeling in the lower legs, especially if you've been sitting a while or your legs swell by day's end. I remember my neighbor Alice, who's 76 and sharp as a tack. She told me that her legs always felt sluggish, especially when the weather got warm. She thought it might just be age catching up with her, but her doctor noticed she was low in folate. After just 2 months of adding more leafy greens and taking a small daily supplement, her legs felt noticeably lighter. She even started joining her grandkids on short nature walks again, something she hadn't done in years. What I love about these stories is how small, quiet adjustments can create real, visible results. It's not about overhauling your life. It's about nudging your body back into balance. And when circulation improves, you don't just feel it in your legs, you feel it in your energy, your sleep, and even your confidence. Now, there's one more vitamin we need to add to this mix. And this one is special because it doesn't just support your nerves or muscles. It protects your blood vessels, which are the highways that deliver all the other nutrients you're working so hard to get. That vitamin is vitamin E. You've probably heard of it in skincare ads, but vitamin E's benefits go far beyond the surface. It's a powerful antioxidant, which means it helps protect your blood vessels from damage caused by oxidative stress, something that increases with age, pollution, and even certain medications. Healthy blood vessels mean better circulation. Better circulation means your legs stay warmer, stronger, and more responsive. Vitamin E also helps reduce muscle soreness after activity. So if you've ever gone on a walk and found yourself sore for 2 days afterward, this could be part of the solution. I met a gentleman named Sim at a retirement community who started taking vitamin E as part of a heart health regimen. He wasn't expecting it to help his legs, but about a month in, he noticed something surprising. The dull ache he used to feel after walking the hallways started to disappear. He told me, "I just feel more fluid now, like my body's cooperating with me again." That's the power of nourishing your body from the inside out. And for many older adults, it's the missing piece. You're doing the walking, you're doing the stretching, but without the right nutrients, your body struggles to meet you halfway. Now, vitamin E can be found in sunflower seeds, almonds, and spinach, but as with many nutrients, the challenge is absorption and consistency. A supplement, taken at the right dose and always with food, can make a quiet but noticeable difference over time. Let's take a moment here. We've now looked at magnesium, vitamin D, calcium, B12, folate, and vitamin E. Each one plays a slightly different role, but they all connect to one simple truth. Your legs need more than just muscles, they need support. They need proper signals from your nerves. They need steady, oxygen-rich blood. They need strong vessels, flexible joints, and balanced minerals. And when all of that starts coming together, the results feel like a gentle restoration. Not dramatic, not instant, but real. And before we wrap up this section, there's still one final nutrient we need to talk about. It's not as famous as the rest, but in recent years, research has uncovered just how vital it is for keeping legs stable, pain-free, and cramp-resistant, especially in older adults. Now, let's talk about one last nutrient that may not get the spotlight as often as it deserves, but quietly plays a crucial role in your leg strength, balance, and cramp prevention. That nutrient is potassium. You might already know potassium as the banana mineral, but what most people don't realize is just how deeply connected potassium is to your muscles, nerves, and hydration, three things that matter a whole lot more as we get older. When your potassium levels are off, your muscles don't contract the way they should. You might feel weakness, tightness, or that frustrating cramping sensation that seems to pop up at the worst times, like in the middle of the night or when you're simply getting up from a chair. I remember a man named Don, 73, who used to get cramps so intense in his thighs at night that he'd jump out of bed, pacing and rubbing his legs until the pain eased off. His doctor had checked magnesium and hydration levels, which were fine. But when they finally looked at his potassium, the issue became clear. Don had been on a diuretic for his blood pressure, something many seniors take, which was quietly draining his potassium stores without him even realizing it. Once he added potassium-rich foods to his daily routine, things like sweet potatoes, avocados, and a small banana here and there, plus a carefully balanced supplement his doctor approved, the cramps didn't just lessen, they vanished. He told me it was like someone had flipped a switch, and suddenly, nighttime wasn't something he dreaded anymore. He could finally sleep through the night without fear of pain waking him up. Potassium doesn't just help prevent cramps. It also helps balance sodium, which many older adults consume more of than they realize. And when potassium is too low and sodium is too high, blood pressure can spike, circulation slows down, and the legs, especially the lower legs and feet, can start to feel swollen, achy, or weak. It's a delicate dance, but when it's in balance, your whole body feels it. What I love about potassium is that it doesn't require anything fancy. It's in so many everyday foods: spinach, lentils, oranges, even plain yogurt. But it's easy to miss if you're eating a more processed diet or avoiding fruits for fear of sugar. That's why awareness is everything. A simple blood test can tell you where you stand. And once you know, it's easier to give your body exactly what it needs to feel lighter, more stable, and less prone to those frustrating surprises like cramps or spasms. Now, as we wrap up the list of 7 powerful vitamins and minerals that support strong, cramp-free legs, let's step back and connect the dots. Each of these nutrients, magnesium, vitamin D, calcium, B12, folate, vitamin E, and potassium, they're not miracle pills. But they're also not optional if your goal is to stay active, confident, and mobile in your 60s, 70s, 80s, and beyond. You don't need to take them all in supplement form either. In fact, many of these can come straight from your meals through fresh greens, nuts, whole grains, fruits, and lean proteins. What matters most is consistency. A little bit each day, like drops filling a glass. Over time, you start to notice something. Your legs don't ache as much after a walk. You don't feel that late afternoon drag. You wake up without a knot in your calf or a jolt of pain in your foot. And more than anything, you stop being afraid to move. That's what this is all about. Movement without hesitation. Walking with purpose. Standing with confidence. Dancing if you feel like it. Lifting your grandchild without fear. Hiking to your favorite spot. Bending down to pull weeds in your garden without the sudden zing of pain shooting down your leg. Because no one should have to give up the things they love just because of age. And the good news is, you don't have to. Your body may not bounce back the way it did at 40, but it's still incredibly capable of healing, adapting, and thriving with the right care. And if you're someone who's been feeling discouraged lately, maybe walking has become harder, or you've started avoiding certain activities because of discomfort, I want to gently remind you, this isn't the end of your strength story. In fact, it might be the beginning of a new chapter. One where you nourish your body from within, where you learn what it needs, and you give it generously, where instead of powering through pain, you finally support your legs with the nutrients they've been waiting for. You deserve that kind of support. You deserve to feel strong, steady, and fully present in your life, not trapped in a body that's silently asking for help. And as we look ahead, let's talk about what happens when these nutrients become a regular part of your day. The confidence that returns, the sleep that deepens, the moments you stop thinking about your legs because, finally, they're just working the way they should. Let's talk about the daily habits and easy steps you can take to put all this into action, starting now. So now that we've walked through the 7 essential nutrients that can support your leg strength, reduce cramps, and restore your mobility, it's time to bring this knowledge to life. Because knowing what your body needs is only half the battle. Doing something about it, in small, steady steps, is what brings the real change. And the beauty of this process is, you don't need to do everything at once. You don't need to walk into a vitamin aisle and load up your basket like you're prepping for a marathon. What you need is a moment. A simple pause in your day to ask, what is my body asking for right now? And then, gently, offering it what it needs. That might start with breakfast. Maybe you stir a handful of spinach into your eggs. Hello, magnesium and folate. Or you slice a banana into your oatmeal. Hello, potassium. Maybe you enjoy a little time in the morning sun, soaking up just enough rays to help your body create its own vitamin D. And if cooking feels like a chore some days, there's nothing wrong with a well-chosen supplement. The key is not to chase perfection. It's to make it easier to care for yourself. If a once daily multivitamin helps you stay on track, take it. If separating out magnesium at night helps your sleep and leg comfort, go for it. Tailor it to you. This is your journey. I've seen people in their 60s and 70s transform the way they feel, not with high-intensity workouts or strict diets, but by simply fueling their bodies with the right nutrients. The shift is subtle at first. You notice you're not as stiff in the morning. You find yourself standing longer without shifting from foot to foot. You realize it's been a few nights since your legs woke you up with cramps. And then one day, you're walking across the parking lot without clutching your car door for balance. You're holding yourself taller. You're moving more freely. That kind of transformation isn't flashy. It doesn't come with before and after photos, but it's deeply real. And it gives you something priceless back: trust in your body again. I once spoke with Linda, 68, who had been quietly withdrawing from things she loved. She'd stopped going to her line dancing group, even though she adored it, because the soreness in her legs just wasn't worth it anymore. But after learning about these nutrients and slowly adjusting her routine, adding in B12, paying attention to hydration, choosing magnesium-rich snacks, she found herself lacing up her shoes one evening and saying, "Let's give it one more try." That one more try became a weekly class. That weekly class became a source of joy again. And that joy turned into confidence, energy, and a renewed sense of self. That's what this is all about. Not chasing you, not denying change, but honoring your body right where it is today and giving it the care it needs to keep you living fully. Because you deserve to walk into the kitchen without holding the wall. You deserve to go up your front steps without wincing. You deserve to stretch your legs in the morning and feel strength, not stiffness, meet you in return. So if your legs have been talking to you lately through cramps, soreness, or that sense of heaviness, listen closely. It's not weakness. It's not failure. It's just your body's way of saying, "Help me a little more." And now, you know exactly how to respond. And I'd love to hear from you. Which of these vitamins have you tried? What changes have you noticed in your legs, your sleep, your energy? Share it in the comments below, not just for me, but for someone else who might be searching for hope right now, just like you were. And if this video helped you, if it made you feel understood, encouraged, or inspired to take action, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. That helps more people in our community find this content. And if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button so we can stay connected. Because here, we're building more than just health. We're building momentum together. You've got everything it takes to make this change. You have the knowledge. You have the tools. And now you have the reminder that you're still capable of building strength, stability, and freedom right from your legs on up. Here's to longer walks, deeper sleep, and waking up without cramps. Here's to your health, your strength, and your independence. Here's to living your best life at any age.